Welcome back, you all, to CHD 205 Program Planning. This is the video for Chapter 29, Programs for Infants and Toddlers. Working with infants and toddlers can be exciting and rewarding. Infancy and toddlerhood are unique and challenging stages in the life cycle. Studies show that brain development is more rapid from birth to age 3 than at any other period during a person's life. The brain is the only organ in a child's body that will change after birth in response to the child's experiences. Early experiences shape the architecture of a young child's brain and have a lifelong impact on learning and development. As an infant toddler caregiver, your nurturing and support play an important role in this most critical time. Providing a safe, stimulating, and nurturing environment promotes optimal development. Offering developmentally appropriate activities can form and strengthen the connections in the brain, which increase lifelong learning power. As an infant toddler caregiver, your behavior will influence the children's lifelong learning. Infants develop in an environment of responsive relationships and positive experiences. Infants and toddlers will react based on the way you treat them. Growth-producing relationships are dependent on positive, engaging, and sensitive social interactions. Your modeling will teach them how to think, feel, and act. If you are warm and loving, the children will be warm and loving. Touch, smile, make eye contact, and speak affectionately to the children. Talk, and talk some more. Describe actions, things, and people with a tone of voice that shows enthusiasm and interest. The more you expose an infant to everyday language, the more language skills will be absorbed and developed. Infants and toddlers need caregivers who provide consistent guidance and pleasurable experiences and interactions. To provide a consistent and trusting environment, all center staff must agree on what is acceptable behavior. In most cases, having only a few rules for children increases the chance that rules will be consistently followed. Finally, an infant toddler caregiver needs to be aware of new research in the infant toddler field. In order to provide a quality infant toddler program, consider the following guidelines. You should develop engaging and trusting relationships with the children and their families. Provide a safe, interesting, and nurturing environment. Encourage curiosity by providing opportunities for the children to explore. Avoid overstimulation. Too many experiences at one time can overwhelm young children, particularly infants. And you should also follow a consistent and predictable routine in providing for children's needs. Providing a quality, nurturing environment for infants cannot be left to chance. Environment planning needs to be intentional. An environment for infants should be attractive and comfortable for infants as well as the caregivers. These environments should address daily routines by including areas for feeding, diapering, cuddling with a caregiver, sleeping, and playing. The diapering area should be located next to a sink, and the floor surface should be washable to allow for easy cleaning and disinfecting. Sleeping areas usually use the most space because cribs take a large amount of floor space. The ideal location for this area is adjoining to the diapering area. Infants also need their own play area. They need to be safe and out of the way of older children. Some children will go about routines quickly, while others will move more slowly. As a caregiver, you must be sensitive to the children's needs and messages. All infant and toddlers, regardless of their rhythms, require their needs to be met promptly if they are to learn trust. Meeting these children's needs includes providing consistent care to help children learn that they are special. In providing consistent care, caregivers should meet the needs of the children appropriately. So let's look at a few appropriate and then also inappropriate caregiver practices. Of course, we need to practice frequent face-to-face interaction, not leave infants being left unattended for long periods of time without any type of adult attention. Toys should be picked up immediately after being discarded in order to be sanitized. After being sanitized, they should be reintroduced to the environment instead of toys that were put in the mouths of some children and then dropped on the floor. They're just left there for the next child to pick up and put into their mouth. Caregivers should constantly talk, sing, and use nonverbal language with the children instead of leaving infants to entertain themselves. Caregivers should recognize and provide for individual differences in children's sleeping and eating needs instead of expecting all children to conform to a rigid schedule for sleeping and eating. And another appropriate practice would be that each child is assigned a primary caregiver to receive predictable care instead of being passed from one caregiver to another and provided with little consistency or predictability. When meeting the needs of infants and toddlers, routines are more important than they are with preschoolers. Daily routines should be predictable to give children a sense of security and to help them know what to expect each day. Usually between 7 and 9 months of age, infants begin to show fear of strangers or stranger danger or stranger anxiety. Great differences exist in how children show stranger anxiety. Some infants who have had experience with strangers will react less intensely, while other infants will show more anxiety with males than with females. Between 9 and 18 months of age, many children will start experiencing separation anxiety. This is a feeling of fear and distress at being separated from a parent. Separation anxiety is a sign that children are learning and developing close relationships with their parents. Separation anxiety is often strongest among children of this age who enter the child care setting for the first time. When caring for infants and toddlers, caregivers should provide appropriate equipment and toys. Toys serve as sensory stimuli for young children. When choosing toys for the infant or toddler, safety is the #1 consideration. First, make sure all toys are washable. Then, check each toy carefully for sharp edges or points. Small toys or toys with small parts should be avoided. Objects smaller than 1.5 inches across and 1 inch in diameter could be swallowed and cause choking. Once children begin to crawl or walk, they will continually explore the environment. To encourage this curiosity, it is important that toddler environments are safe with large open areas where children can pull or push toys, straddle large trucks, or roll large balls. Toddlers also love to climb and play with water. Books are also of interest to toddlers. Toddlers enjoy stories about families, people, animals, and objects. Puppets are also appealing to young children. Children enjoy puppets that are soft and recognizable. Some children will lack interest in a particular toy. This is a sign of over-familiarity, which results when children are given the same toy day after day after day, and they just simply become bored. Once children are comfortable with a particular toy, they repeat the same actions over and over again. When this happens, new skills do not develop, and it is time to provide a different toy that offers new challenges. Young children like to have a variety of toys and need opportunities to make choices. A balanced curriculum for infants and toddlers is based on the needs of the children attending the center. It is also based on child growth and development principles. Curriculum is the totality of the experience. Curriculum for infants and toddlers include planned and unplanned experiences and differs from curriculum for older preschool children. Rather than teachers setting learning goals, infants often set their own developmental goals. As the teacher, your role is to support this growth. A curriculum for infants consists of simple and basic activities. Infant sign language is often referred as a gestural language. Since language and motor skills begin before speech, it allows babies to communicate months before they actually learn to speak. As a result, it helps them self-regulate by easing their frustrations and communicating their feelings and needs, particularly between 8 months and 2 years of age. Well, when and how should sign language be introduced? Infants at 6 months of age can begin to learn simple sign language. Decide with the staff what signs should be introduced first. Then communicate with the parents and include the name and description of the sign. Using them consistently in daily routines such as eating, diapering, singing, and reading. Always use the word or phrase at the same time that you make the sign. So let's just say if the child wanted something to eat, you may say eat, eat, cookie, whatever it is, drink, so that they begin to recognize, they understand the word, but then they recognize this with, oh, I'm thirsty, so let me do drink, and they can communicate their needs before they can actually speak. So let's review what we've learned. Infants and toddlers are at a very special stage in their lives. They are just learning about their world, and yet they learn and grow very quickly. The care they receive at this stage is very important for brain development. Caring for infants and toddlers requires skill in areas unique to the age group. Emphasis is shifted toward care of daily routines. The environment should balance safety and health concerns with the child's developmental needs. Infants often communicate by crying. As a caregiver, you will have to learn the meaning of each child's cries and respond promptly. To meet the special needs of infants and toddlers, appropriate equipment is needed. Though the curriculum for infants consists of simple, basic activities, the curriculum for toddlers requires more planning. Activity areas should be designated to meet a toddler's needs. So thanks for joining me for Chapter 29, Infant and Toddler Programs. Also, make sure you refer to your Blackboard course for other materials. You'll find your PowerPoint, supplemental materials, and I appreciate you joining me for Chapter 29. Make sure you complete the video note sheet. See you next time.